Y2K collector. It is a cool Monday evening. Was planning on doing a like most rare and expensive pickups for the first half of 2025 video. I was gonna do something like that, but honestly, I don't even know if I want to make a video like that. So I figured I would go live and do this in a live format. Just seems like a better format to do it in. A lot of times when I do these videos or these types of videos, I get a lot of just a lot of different questions on like where I picked some of the games up, how much I paid, so on and so forth. So just to kind of make it a little bit easier for me and any and everyone who's probably going to be interested in just some of the games that are picked up and where I got them, I figured I'd just go live. It's more interactive. I'm able to kind of speak directly to the Y2K crew, the Y2K community, and just anyone else who wants to kind of hop in and just be a part of the Monday night party. It's crazy because there's like 2 weeks left before. Well, is this the last week of official spring? I think it is because summer starts with the 21st is when summer actually begins. So so we got about a couple more weeks or like a week left of summer, spring rather, and then summer comes in. And once we get to the halfway point in the year, that's when school's out and everybody's going to be out and about, just kind of doing their thing. So, not going to take too much time, but I am going to take you guys through my most rare and expensive pickups of 2025 so far. And I may do a couple lives just going over this stuff, but this one is really just going to be looking at all of the rare and expensive GameStop pickups. So these are all the rare games that I found either in a GameStop store physically or games that I purchased online. So we're going to go ahead and get it kicked off. And I'm first going to take you guys through all of the Super Nintendo and Nintendo pickups, starting off with this copy of Top Gear 3000. It's a very cool racer. Played a little bit of this. The sense of speed and motion in this game is actually pretty uncanny for a Super Nintendo game. But the fact that you can upgrade your car, you can upgrade your engine, there's just a lot of customization in this game. I felt like it was kind of ahead of its time for it being a Super Nintendo game. But this game comes in at 50 bucks. This was a $50 pickup from GameStop. Not too bad as far as Super Nintendo goes. Got another rare and expensive one, Biker Mice from Mars. First of all, who remembers the Biker Mice from Mars cartoon show? I used to love that cartoon show. I feel like Biker Mice from Mars was around during the era of all these like anamorphic, is that the word? Where they just took animals and made them into superheroes. You had Biker Mice from Mars, you had Street Sharks, Ninja Turtles, Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Cowboys of Moo Mesa was actually pretty dang cool too. Street Sharks was cool. Ninja Turtles was cool. SWAT Cats, right? You had SWAT Cats. You had all these little cartoons that were just based off of animals. So, hey, Death Bob, what's going on? Yeah. Biker Mice from Mars was cool. And so this was another one that I picked up from GameStop. So this was an $87 game from GameStop, but pretty rare. You don't see Biker Mice from Mars around too often. Yo, it's Heckin' Steve in the building. What's going down, man? I'm just talking about the most rare and expensive pickups from GameStop, man. That's just I was gonna make a video about it, but I was like, I'm just gonna go live and talk about it. So far we've looked at Top Gear 3000. Next we've got Biker Mice from Mars. Next up we have, this one's not super rare or anything, but this is Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo. This was another GameStop pickup. Had a little sticker on here. It is what it is. I've had this game in the collection before. Let it go. Glad to have it back. Then we had some other Super Nintendo pickups here. These ones aren't really rare or expensive, but I'll just show them anyway since they were GameStop pickups. You had Earthworm Jim 2, and then Metroid has actually gone up a little bit in price. So Super Metroid is now like a 70 something dollar game, like a $75 game. Pretty good nonetheless. This one I think was like 60 from GameStop. This is the original label. I actually have the Player's Choice label too, but got that one. This is another one, Brain Lord. I had never heard of this game until I actually ordered it off the website. Um, Super Metroid might be the best, and it might be. Like when I think about side scrollers, especially Metroidvania games, like the top two have to be Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night to me. I mean, those are genre defining games, literally. Brainlord is actually a very interesting top down, like action RPG game. It's pretty cool. There's not many top down action RPG games that allow you to jump. And I just think it's so funny that this game does allow you to jump. It's an interesting game. Very cool one. All right, and now we're gonna start to get into like the beefy stuff. This is probably the more expensive stuff. Starting off, we have Def Jam 5 for New York Takeover. This was a pickup that I got during like I think they were having like a buy two get one, and so I just walked in at the right time. This happened to be there. Bought this with a bunch of games, and got that. When you spend over $250 in GameStop, you get like an additional $25 off. So that was a pretty cool one. But Def Jam 5 for New York Takeover. This is complete. Not bad at all. So Def Jam, this one came in at like 53. Def Jam 5 for New York Takeover is probably like $100 game or so, if not more. You have Operation Darkness. This again, what came in at roughly around 50. Operation Darkness was at one point like a $200 game, but it's come down a lot. I think right now it hovers somewhere around 100, 110. So Operation Darkness, pretty cool game. Complete in box on the 360. That one was also rare. This one I was really stoked to find. Guitaru Man. Guitaru Man is a really tough game to find, even out there in the wild. It's just a tough one to find. But got this one at GameStop. It did come with the case, but unfortunately no manual. But I did play this game. It's a very interesting game to play. One of those rhythm-based games. Pretty cool pickup there. Shadow Hearts. This was a game that I got earlier in the year, like in the beginning of the year. Complete. I have all 3 games in the Shadow Hearts series. What about Earthworm Jim for Sega CD? Earthworm Jim for Sega CD would be an amazing game to get. That's like really expensive. I'm not going to pay out of pocket for Earthworm Jim for the Sega CD. I'm just not doing that. It is an expensive game. It's cool though. I mean, it plays just like the Earthworm Jim for the PC. So if you've played Earthworm Jim on PC, then it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just not paying that much for an Earthworm Jim game. Do you have any adult Atari games like Custer's Revenge? No, I don't have that. But I do have an Atari game that I am going to show you. This is an expensive Atari game. So it's a Game Boy Advance game, actually. So Dragon Ball Adventure. This was a game that I found at GameStop. T-Dodge 1. What's going on, man? This one is kind of rare. It definitely is expensive. This game ranges between like 80 and $100. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is probably, and I keep saying this, but in my opinion, it's the best beat 'em up on the Game Boy Advanced. If you like beat 'em up games, top tier. Like the hits in this game feel very precise, satisfying. You can do air combos. You can charge up your Kamehameha and do major Kamehameha blasts. And each boss battle is basically fought in like this kind of like Street Fighter style one-on-one battle where you just kind of battle until somebody's energy bar runs out. I think you have to like battle Piccolo in one of the battles. It's really like a top tier game on the Game Boy Advance. But this is another one that I picked up from GameStop. Really sick find. This one I got for like that day. This was like a $20 pickup that day. Sick find. A lot of you know this one already. Resident Evil Gaiden. Picked this up from GameStop. Was stoked when I got it, and then took it home and then realized it was broken. So I had to crack this open, resolder it, and it was really good to get it back up and running. I don't, hold on, let me catch up on some of these. Do you own an Atari Jaguar? I do not own an Atari Jaguar. I almost got an Atari Jaguar until I realized I probably wouldn't play it a lot. I don't. Heck, and Steve, I saw some pretty good bangers last weekend at my GameStop. Should have filmed it. Yeah, they've been having them, man. They've been stocking them up for real. Like GameStop has been having them. Scott Free, I doubt I'll ever beat my biggest pickup this year, or ever, which was a CIB Earthbound I got for 120. Sheesh, that's not bad, man. That's a hell of a find. That is a hell of a find. Resident Evil Soldered Edition. That's funny. Soldered Edition. I like that. It's funny. Don't they have Astro Boy for the Game Boy Advance? They do have Astro Boy. I actually have Astro Boy on the Game Boy Advance, and Astro Boy plays a little bit different from your traditional beat 'em up. To be honest, like it has side scroller levels, but it also has like what feels like shoot 'em up levels. So I would say Astro Boy has a different feel from like a Dragon Ball Adventure game. Um, yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah, Astro Boy is cool. Like, I mean, I could show you guys. Hang on. Let's see. I might as well, since we're live, right? We got time tonight. Let's see. I keep all my game. This is bad. Do not store your Game Boy games this way. This is a horrible way to store them. I'm just redoing the room, so I have nowhere else to put them. But where's it at? I have it in here somewhere. Astro Boy. Mega Man is a pretty dope game. For those of you who don't know, Metroid, a top tier Zero Mission is definitely a cool one for me. R-Type 3, definitely one of my faves. What's up, Herms? I'm just looking for Astro Boy. Gunstar Superheroes, definitely a good one. I do have Spider-Man on Game Boy. I'm actually getting ready to sell my copy of Spider-Man on Game Boy. I don't play it enough, and I'm making so much noise with this. But yeah, I just don't play my copy of Spider-Man on the Game Boy. I can't find my copy of Astro. Oh, here it goes, right here. Yeah, so Astro Boy. So this is Astro Boy. A lot of folks talk about Astro Boy and Dragon Ball Adventure being the two greatest beat 'em up games. Here, let me get this out the way now. And there's a target bag. So a lot of people, when it comes to like beat 'em ups on the Game Boy Advance, a lot of people will talk about like Dragon Ball Adventure and Astro Boy. To me, Astro Boy definitely is up there, man. It's like, oh, I got my Game Boy right here. See if we can pop it in, take a look, see a little bit of the difference between the two. But yeah, man, it just depends on the type of gameplay that you like. Honestly, that's really what it depends on. Astro Boy, in my opinion, just has a bit of a different feel to it, though. Definitely a sick game, though. Definitely a sick game. Like, it's by Treasure. So Treasure, they're the same folks that make like Gunstar Heroes. Sound effects are just killer. I should have played this in my analog pocket. The colors would have popped a little bit better. But as you can see, like, you see how Astro Boy has this just a little bit more of like a shoot 'em up feel to it. It's sick though. Astro Boy is just, man, this game is fire. I mean, sheesh. I mean, we'll dive into that a little bit more. Maybe I'll stream that a little bit more. But like, Astro Boy is just a sick game, man. Top tier for sure. But yeah, this was a really cool find for this year. T-Dodge, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Super chat, I appreciate that, man. I think that might be like my first ever super chat. Like, I don't know. Thank you though. I don't know if I've ever had one of those. Thank you. Let's see. Both are so much. Mega Man is good. R-Type 3 is good too. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on the Game Boy Advance, man. Like, if there was a console like to collect for, Game Boy Advance is like, to me, is definitely up there. Do I have any CIB Pokemon games on GB or GBA? No, I don't have any sealed or CIB Pokemons on Game Boy GBA, but I do have another game that's on this list, Pokemon Black. This was one that I just picked up this weekend. So you guys heard me talk about this the other day. This is like my first CIB Pokemon game, I guess. This was a GameStop pickup. Picked this up for $54 at GameStop. Not mad at that at all. For those of you who know, a complete in-box copy of Pokemon Black, I don't know, maybe 100, 110 bucks. Pretty cool stuff there. This was a heavy hitter. This might be one of my heaviest hitting GameStop pickups so far of 2025. Tales of Destiny 2. This is no slouch. I remember the day that I found this. I'm going to say that I picked this game up. Man, I can't even remember at this point. It was in the low ones, maybe 110, maybe 125, maybe. But I picked it up because it was in decent condition. All of these stickers on here just add character to me. Like EB Games, like all of this just tells the story of ownership on this. That's why they're still on here. A big part of me was going to take it off, but I just didn't want to do it. I was never a handheld gamer. Herm says I was never a handheld gamer growing up. My first handheld was a DS, which I played a few GBA games on. Yeah, my first handheld was an original Game Boy. I loved that thing. I got it when I was 9, and I played it nonstop. I played so many games on it. The one game that I probably played the most on the Game Boy, just a regular Game Boy, is this game right here. And it was my cousin who had it, and I borrowed it and never gave it back. But Darkwing Duck on the original Game Boy, probably one of my favorite Game Boy games of all time. Either Darkwing Duck, or if it's not Darkwing Duck, then it has to be this guy. And you're going to notice a striking similarity between the two, because Darkwing Duck definitely stole his style from this guy. But Batman. So Batman Returns on the Game Boy is surprisingly good. Like, the grappling in this game is pretty good, and the animations are really smooth for Game Boy. Like, when Batman turns around in this game, his cape actually, like, it swings in the wind, like you can see it. And when you're grappling in this game, you can actually, they did really good with the animation in this game. Like, Sunsoft is no slouch. There's so many Sunsoft games that I'm a huge fan of that I just don't talk about, but Sunsoft is a true sleeper. Like, of the 90s, they had some true bangers. But yeah, when you start talking about original Game Boy, these were some of the original Game Boy games I played back in the day as a kid. And then, of course, anyone who had an original Game Boy back in the day, you had to have Mega Man. So I'm pretty sure I had and played like almost every Mega Man game. But I think the Mega Man game that stands out the most outside of the original Mega Man was probably like Mega Man either 2 or 3. I have both Mega Man 2 and 3. So, I mean, I'm just showing you guys this just to say, like, I'm a huge original Game Boy fan. These are the games that I played as a kid. It just meant so much to me, man. Just as a youngster. I mean, I can't tell you, like, on a Monday night, like tonight, like, geez, I don't want to give my age away, but over 20 years ago, let's just say it this way, I'd have been in the bathroom, probably struggling with like the bathroom light to try to play my Game Boy, like the bathroom night light, trying to, for those who know, like when your parents told you to go to bed, turn the lights off, go to bed, and you're like, damn, all the lights got to be off, so but I need light to play my Game Boy. You are using any light you could get your hands on to play your Game Boy. That's what it was. It was rough, man. These kids are blessed. You guys got backlit screens and LCD screens and shoot, all types of stuff to help you out. We had none of that, man. We had none of that growing up. You either needed to get a flashlight, or if you had like a Casio watch that had the backlight in it, you were using any kind of light. I'm talking about dudes is catching cataracts trying to play video games back in the day. Let's see. I am the scourge that flaps in legit. I am the scourge that flaps in the night. And then he always has like, that's Darkwing Duck. Death Bob he's quoting Darkwing Duck right there. Herm says, I played the Game Boy Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure, the other day. Grew up loving the Genesis version. I don't think it gets love deserved. Yeah, Pitfall is underrated for sure, man. Pitfall is super underrated. Misery Loves Company. How goes it? Hey, man. Yeah, glad you were able to catch a live stream. Mega Man 2 is the GOAT, for sure, man. Mega Man 2 is definitely up there. T-Dodge. Thanks, man. Appreciate the support, man, for sure. Septic, you have Mega Man 5. I got a killer deal on my... So I do have Mega Man 5, but not on the Game Boy. I have it for the Nintendo. Yeah, I do have Mega Man 5 on the NES. I do have that one. Brooklyn Game Color. They have Darkwing Duck for TurboGrafx 16, but not sure if it's good or bad. I didn't know that. I didn't even know they had it for TurboGrafx. That's interesting to know. I didn't even realize they had that. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, man, the Casio. For those who know, if you had a Casio and you had a fresh battery in your Casio and you hit that button, that green light was pretty bright, especially if you're in a dark room. That Casio did damage. Yeah, man, Game Boy Color, you had the same problems. There was no backlit screen on the Game Boy Color, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so just going back to some of these pickups here. Yeah, so Tales of Destiny 2 was definitely one of the crazier pickups for me this year. It was complete. It had all of the discs. Whenever you find these games that have like 2 and 3 discs in them, you're always worried that it's not going to have all of it. But it had all of the discs and the manual. This was a must cop. So that was another sick pickup so far this year. Tales of Destiny 2. Then Mega Man Star Force 3 Black Ace. This was a more recent pickup. Picked this up over the weekend. This is a $200 game. I didn't realize like this game was like 180 to 200 bucks. They had this at my local GameStop for 87. So and I had some coupons and stuff like that, so was able to knock the price down. But man, that was a killer deal for real. All of these Mega Man Star Force games that I found that day, super complete, fresh, like minty fresh. It's really good condition, man. Whoever traded that stuff in kept their stuff together pretty dang good. Speaking of the NES, this was another rare pickup from GameStop this year. Metal Storm. This is an online pickup. Metal Storm. First of all, let's just talk about this cover art, man. Like, let's look at this. This is like classic, like 1980, like late 80s, early 90s, like anime. Like, just look at that. Fire. So when I was a kid, I was obsessed with sketching. I would draw like superheroes all the time. I would watch X-Men 97 and try to draw like Beast and Cyclops. And then like, you know, any cartoons I would try to draw. Like this is something that I would have probably sketched over and over and over again just to try to get it. But Metal Storm is a really sick game. This is basically like a mech shooter, run and gun shooter style game with the interesting mechanic that allows you to walk on either the ceiling or the floor. So you can, I don't know if you're manipulating gravity or if you're manipulating like your magnetic pull, like if you can magnetize yourself, but you can either walk on the roof. Yeah, it's a gravity mechanic. Thank you, Death Bob. Yeah, so you have that ability to do that. There's a game that was released by was it Limited Run? I think it was Limited Run. I think it got like a regular release too through Best Buy, but if you, for those of you who know, Panzer Paladin, have you guys ever heard of that game for the Switch? If you've ever played Panzer Paladin, it looks and plays a lot like Metal Storm. The difference with Panzer Paladin though is that you can actually take weapons and combine them and create new weapons, and it has like RPG elements to it too. It's more than just like a run and gun mech shooter. Panzer Paladin on the Switch is a really good game. I regret selling my copy. I wish I would have kept it, but it is a sick game. If you've never heard of it, check it out. Panzer Paladin on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, so Metal Storm, I can't remember how much I paid for this, but this is like a $100 game, to be honest with you. On the Nintendo, that's a $100 game. This one I think is more, I can't tell you which one is more rare, Metal Storm or Felix, but Felix the Cat was a surprising GameStop find this year. This is an online pickup, to be honest with you. Felix the Cat is like very rare. Like I don't know even know if I've seen this at any of like the game stores that I've gone to. I've even gone to a couple conventions. I've never seen them there. So the day that I saw this on their website, I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't even wait. I didn't hesitate. I put checkout immediately. Um, Definitely a cool one. What surprised me the most about, and these are authentic. I did pop them open and check to make sure that they were open. What surprised me the most about both these NES games was the condition of the labels. I was blown away. Like Metal Storm has a little bit more wear and tear. Like you can see it definitely has more of that like wear and tear on it. But like Felix the Cat, man, like that label is, whew. Pretty good. Let's check some of these comments here. I only had Tiger handhelds. Hey, listen, I had Tiger handhelds too. Like my parents, so my parents are foreigners, man. Like they didn't believe, like growing up, they didn't believe in all that video game stuff. It was read your books, do something educational. They wanted you to have good grades. They were trying to produce doctors, lawyers, and all that jazz in my house. So my parents were not about buying me any video games as a kid. Like I said, my first video game came from my brother, not my parents. My brother bought me that. But my parents, like my mom knew, she knew like other kids had video games. So what'd she do? She bought me some Tiger Electronics. So every Disney Tiger Electronic you can imagine I had. I had the Aladdin, I had Lion King, I had Peter Pan, I had all the ones. And then they came out with like the Sonic the Hedgehog one. Like I had all them things, man. And I played them things to death. Listen, don't sleep. I played them things to death. And you know what's funny is back in the day, you know, in the 90s, you had show and tell in school. And I couldn't wait for show and tell. And I remember I had just gotten this like brand new Tiger Electronic. I was super psyched. I think I had two. I was super psyched to bring it to show and tell. Rolled up to school, had my Tiger Electronics in my hand, getting ready to, you know, show it off. I was like, man, I'm gonna show this stuff off. Walked into the classroom, pulled out my Tiger Electronics. The kid right next to me bust out a full-on Game Gear with like 5 games. Smoked me. Like I felt smaller than an ant immediately. Like he pulled his Game Gear out, pulled out like 6 games, turned the screen on. Like the 2 kids that were marveling my Tiger Electronics immediately ran away and ran to the other kid. The whole class was surrounding the dude with the Game Gear. I was bummed. I was like, dude, what is this? My man totally upstaged me, like instantly. And then another kid walks in. I'll never forget, it's my friend Tim. His family was from him and his family were from I think they were from Vietnam, but they would go to Asia a lot. They would always travel to Asia and come back. And I remember when it was his turn for show and tell, this dude pulls out, for those of you who remember back in the day, like, you know, you would have like the Ninja Turtle like cars or like the Batmobile, like the action, like each action figure had its own like vehicle that you could get from like Toys R Us. Yo, this dude pulls out, for those of you who watch Darkwing Duck, he travels in like one of his vehicles is the duck plane. It's like a Darkwing Duck airplane. It's basically like a Donald Duck version of the plane that Batman flies. This dude pulled out the Darkwing Duck airplane for showing. I'll never forget that because it was a toy that I never knew existed. Like, and I'm sure you guys have that moment. Like a kid just busts out a toy. You're like, bro, where did you get this toy? Like, it was crazy. I'll never forget that. 2 moments in kindergarten smoked me, blew me away. Couldn't compete with those guys. I was like, man, never again. Let me catch up on these comments here. Let's see. Yeah, man, Gravity Mechanic. Ever heard of Monster Rancher 4? I've seen that game. I think I had an opportunity to get that game. I think I passed up on it. Monster. Oh, you beat it without a Game Genie. Pretty nice. Limited run re-release for Felix or for Switch. Oh, they did re-release Felix for Switch. I didn't know that. Okay, well, you can leave it up to limited run. They're gonna re-release everything under the sun before you know it. I didn't have handhelds as a kid, but my friend's dad always had the more obscure consoles. We used to play Bonk's Adventure on his TurboGrafx 16. They're worth a pretty penny now. Yeah, Bonk's is pretty expensive. My first game console was Atari 2600 system. Now, when I look back at it, I can't play it now. Yeah, it's rough. Atari's tough. I don't know how you do it. It's called a Thunderquack. Yes, Death Bob, you got it. Shit, that's what I'm talking about. You see, you watched Darkwing Duck. It was the Thunderquack. Damn, he brought me back. That's exactly what it was called. This dude pulled a Thunderquack out of his book bag. I was like, dude, who makes that toy? Is it Mattel? Is it? I couldn't. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen it? Think back to your childhood when your friend bust out a toy and you were like, bro, where did you get this toy? Like, maybe it's just me, but I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. We're in expensive GameStop games. So next up we have Chibi Robo. Plug into the adventure. This one, I was just really shocked to find this one. This was online. GameStop had like a week, like in the beginning of May, And this was right before they announced that they were purchasing $500 billion worth of Bitcoin. When you went to their website, they unloaded, it's like they unloaded their full retro arsenal. They had Sega Saturn games, PlayStation games, GameCube games. They had Shining Force 3, Misadventures of Tron Bonne, um, Gotcha Force, Chibi Robo, and like I could tell at the time that other people were noticing because games are like becoming unavailable really quick. So I decided in that moment to just snag whatever I could like get. And luckily I was able to get Chibi Robo in my cart and check out. Now, I was grateful that it came with the original artwork and the game. The bummer in this is there is no manual. But listen, I will still take it because even without the manual, I think Chibi Robo is still somewhere between 175 and 200. It's just a really expensive GameCube game. Next up, Pokemon Coliseum. This was also online. I was crossing my fingers on this one. They did come through. This one was complete. So they did give me the manual with this one and the game. So this was a pretty solid pickup. I was glad about that. Pokemon Coliseum, what is this? Like $160 game, maybe $165 game. Nothing too crazy. I think that's what that goes for. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This was an in-store pickup. Pretty sick in-store pickup. I was actually stoked because the girl like held it for me. Like she knew I was gonna be visiting the store. She held it for me, and that day I picked up like Legend of Zelda. I think Phantasy Star I picked up that day. It was a bunch of games. A lot of games, like GameCube games, PSP games. They held it down for me at that GameStop, so I was pretty stoked. But yeah, Twilight Princess Complete was another one. This is another recent pickup here. Fatal Frame 2. This was an online pickup. Came complete. Was pretty stoked about that. Again, game, the manual, the whole 9 yards. All of that was in there. Pretty dope. Pickups. And then last but not least, Eternal Darkness for the GameCube. This one was complete as well. Not even mad at that. Online, I'm telling you, they just had a day where they just unloaded, let everything go on their website. And you know me, I personally know that I'm not gonna find these games in the wild because I just don't hunt in the wild enough. And I'm not gonna get them on eBay or anything and pay full price. So typically for most of these games, on average, I probably paid 55% of their price charting value, which to me is a really good deal. You know, I'll take it. 55%. I'm not sneezing at that. Top three most expensive though, out of everything that I've shown here tonight, is probably gonna be Resident Evil Gaiden. That's a $200 one. Mega Man Star Force will probably be up there as well. And then probably Chibi Robo. These might be like the three most rare and expensive ones that I got out of everything. Oh, I'm sorry. And Tales of Destiny. Tales of Destiny 2 might actually take the cake. So these would probably be like the top four. I mean, it's been a good first half of the year. I mean, thanks to GameStop. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably have a lot more cash in my pocket because I really wouldn't have found anything, and I wouldn't have been going out in the field looking for anything. I've been kind of lazy. Let's see, catch up on some of these. Chibi Robo brings back all the sorts of nostalgia. Yeah, man, Chibi Robo's a classic. My first console was a ColecoVision. I skipped to 2600 after seeing Pac-Man. That's funny. What do you think about Fighters Mega Mix for the Sega Saturn? I've seen that game and never was really interested in getting it. All the games that I was really interested in for the Saturn, I have. Um, if I had to say what my favorite Sega Saturn game is, it's probably Guardian Heroes. I would say Guardian Heroes is my favorite Sega Saturn game. I've beaten Guardian Heroes at least like 2 or 3 times. After that, it's probably like a toss up between Die Hard Arcade, just because I actually played Die Hard Arcade in the arcade back in the day, and Burning Rangers. Those are probably like my favorite Sega Saturn games. Um, Chibi Robo is a top 10 GameCube game, probably in the top 5. There's not much like it. Great, quirky story with awesome sound design. I love the games where you're a tiny. Yeah, it was like when I first started playing it, I was like, man, this is gonna take some getting used to when I was playing it. It's different. It's definitely different. They say Panzer Dragoon games are expensive for the Sega Saturn. Yeah, I never really got the deal with Panzer Dragoon. Like, I'm not. I just I never could get on the Panzer Dragoon wave. I know they're rare and expensive games and they're cool and stuff. I don't know, man. I just never could get into them. I got my CIB copy of Chibi Robo at GameStop for $30 around 2013. That's crazy. That's a really good deal, man. I never see Eternal Darkness in the wild. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's creepy as hell too, man. You play that game, it's creepy. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. So I never really was into like the horror games. I kind of stayed away from them, and then especially once I became a dad, I was like, I'm not playing this around my kids. They'll never go to sleep. You know what I mean? But out of all the Silent Hills, because I have them all, Shattered Memories, Origins, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3, for some reason, is the most creepy to me. Silent Hill 3, I think it's Silent Hill 3. It's the one where you start off and you're dealing with like a therapist and you're talking to that therapist. That therapist is hella creepy. Oh my God. I was like, yo, this game is creepy as hell, man. I was like, no wonder I wasn't playing these games. Silent Hill is creepy. Um, Let's see. These are great finds. 10 out of 10. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Got the Incredible Hulk for the PS3. That's a good one. I was just talking about that the other day. Hulk for the PS3 is pretty good. The one with Edward Norton. We got a vote right now. Who played Hulk the best? To me, it's Ed Norton. I'm mad that Ed Norton didn't make it into the MCU because I like Mark Ruffalo. I think he's cool and everything. But bro, Ed Norton was the best Hulk, man. He was the best Hulk. He I don't know. To me, I liked that one. I don't know why he didn't make it into the MCU. He probably wanted too much money, and they probably just didn't want to pay him. But Ed Norton, in my opinion, is the best Hulk of all time. Let me see here. I have every cheap. Well, I don't know why this always happens. A little green screen thing. Yeah, Ed Norton is just a better. He's a better actor, man. He's definitely a better actor. In general, like I'm not hating on Mark Ruffalo. I know he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of films and stuff. But I'm just more of an Ed Norton fan for that role. I think he just did it. I think he just did it more justice. King Mo Soul, what's going down, man? We're just chilling, bro. It's Monday night. It's light. It's a cool evening. I figured I'd go through, pretty much my top. This is the stand that I use whenever I'm streaming my like Super Nintendo games and stuff. Yeah, I need to step my streaming game up. I know. I need to step my live game up. It's just Heck and Steve was trying to put me on to he's telling me I need to get a what's it called? Now I can't even remember it. Basically a streaming device. I can't remember what he said, which one. Elgato. That's what it was. He was telling me I need to get an Elgato. So I might have to jump out there and grab an Elgato one of these days so I can start streaming some Switch stuff. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. This is what I snagged. GameStop has pretty much been saving my summer. I don't know what else I'm gonna find from there. Oh, I left two off. A couple N64 games. I forgot about these. Yeah, Bomberman 64. This was also GameStop. This is a website. And I actually picked this up from a GameStop that has since closed down. This is at the very, very beginning of the year. Really cool deal on that. Milk was a bad choice. Said, yo, Y2K, like your videos. Ed Norton is a top tier actor, but Mark Ruffalo is my man crush? What? No, bro. Nah, man. No. Nah, man. Look, Ed Norton is the G. I mean, look, to each his own, right? We're all gonna have our opinions. I think that the thing that I'm least happy about is the direction that the whole MCU took pretty much after Endgame. I feel like things just took a serious nosedive with the MCU. Everything from their movies to their Disney Plus spin-offs and all the TV shows. I just felt like a lot of those shows were just trash. I didn't watch any of them. I never watched She-Hulk. I never watched any of that stuff. The one show that actually I was a fan of was the one with the dude with Loki. Loki was actually pretty good, and Loki ties a lot of things together. Loki makes sense of a lot of the MCU storyline if you really watch Loki. Especially when you think about who's this dude that got into the domestic issue and then got fired from Marvel, and he plays like he was just in a movie with Michael B. Jordan in Creed 3. I can't think of his name. Jonathan Majors. Yeah, there was like the movie the next, which movie was it supposed to be? There's supposed to be a movie with him, Krang the Conqueror, right? So Loki kind of ties, Kang. I think it's Kang the Conqueror rather. It ties him into the whole MCU and everything like that. So, um, yeah, Kang. Thanks, guy. Yeah. So I mean, Loki was actually a pretty good one. I'm pretty excited for what they're going to do with Doomsday, what the MCU is doing there, Avengers, Doomsday, and I'm glad that they're bringing back my man Tony Stark. I mean, he's not Tony Stark anymore, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm glad they're bringing him back, because he was all those Avengers movies, man. All those Avengers movies without Iron Man, I really don't know how good they would have been. Tony Stark was the man there. So we got to see. And I've said this before in a different live. The one thing that I'm really upset about that Disney did when it comes to the MCU with the whole storyline is I'm really upset with what they did with Adam Warlock. I feel like they really nerfed him. They really nerfed him as a character, and who they chose to act as Adam Warlock. Bad, bad. There's so many actors out there, man. So many actors out there. They could have done better. I don't know if that was just like a budget thing. Like they couldn't pay. They couldn't find someone that, you know, the actors that they wanted maybe were too expensive. But they really could have done a better job with Adam Warlock, because in the comic books, for you comic guys out there, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Adam Warlock is the one who stops Thanos. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Adam Warlock the one who stops Thanos in the Infinity Saga, in the comic books? Let me know. You guys, let me know. Somebody, let me know. But I'm pretty sure Adam Warlock is the one who does that. So I mean, they had to significantly nerf him in the movies, and it just sucks that they did that. Let me catch up on some of these. I picked up a Switch 2. I really like it. I think you should get one. I'm gonna get one, man. I'm gonna get a Switch 2. I'm just not getting it right now. I don't need the Switch 2 right now. I just don't. I think it's a cool console. I like what it can do, all that stuff. But a lot of the games that I play on the Switch aren't much more advanced than a lot of the 2D games you see sitting on here. So sitting on this, on this futon, basically. So I don't need one. I'll watch other people play it. I'll watch other people get it, but I don't think I'm really gonna get one right now. I think I'm gonna hold off and see what happens in the future. I don't know what PSP game to play. Oh man, there's so many PSP games. You know what PSP game you should play? Chili Con Carnage. Chili Con Carnage is an awesome game. I say if you have that game, pop that game in. You'll thank me later. Chili Con Carnage. If you don't have Chili Con Carnage, here, let me put you on a couple PSP games real quick here. So PSP, my recommendation, Chili Con Carnage, one of my faves. This game plays a lot like think like Grand Theft Auto 3, like Vice City, but just with a south of the border flair and some Max Payne bullet time elements. Amazing game on the PSP. If you don't know what to play on the PSP, you could play that, or you could play, if you have this one, Kenka Bancho. Whew, killer. This is a dope 3D beat 'em up from Atlas. This is a sick one. So I recommend you try that one. Or Castlevania is always a good option. Castlevania. And this one is actually becoming more common. Gurumin. Gurumin, A Monstrous Adventure. This is a really dope action adventure, like RPG style game. This is another really good one. So those would be the ones that I would recommend if you are looking to get some PSP action in. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, I was going through the rest of these comments. Let's see, I was a Saturn kid and played RE on it, RE2 on N64, didn't get a PS1 until after PS2. I got neither. During the height of my brother had a PlayStation 1, but I never personally had like a PlayStation or a Sega Saturn, but one of my good friends did have a Sega Saturn. Played a lot of Sega Saturn games back in the day. And just Saturn, there wasn't enough for it. There just wasn't enough games out for it, to be honest with you. Disney completely washed the Marvel MCU just like they did with Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy needed to be fired years ago, and she's still running it. Yeah, Star Wars, man. Did they say that that was gonna be the last like Star Wars trilogy, the last one that we got with the girl who decided to randomly name herself Rey Skywalker at the end? I thought that was so weird, man. Like, how do you just name yourself Skywalker? Like, that's crazy. Like, how you can do that? Like, I didn't know you could do that. Like that. A lot of things about that last Star Wars trilogy really bothered me. Just, I don't know. But I'm not gonna dive too deep into that. But I will say, yeah, what they did with Star Wars, what they did with Star Wars, and what they did with the MCU just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And for being someone who's watched Star Wars since the 80s and being a kid who grew up reading comic books and then seeing them brought to the big screen, just seeing how like the narrative and like just the way these characters and things are portrayed, it's just confusing to me. Let's see. Brooklyn getting Hulk smash Loki to the ground. Yeah, that was definitely a cool scene in was that the first Avengers? I think it was when that was. Herm says, and my favorite Silver Surfer deserves more. Yeah, man, seriously. So let's talk about Silver Surfer, bro. Silver Surfer would really be destroying a lot of these characters. Like, he's definitely more powerful than, like, I would say 85 to 90% of the characters that we've seen in the MCU thus far. I would probably say Thor is on par with Silver Surfer power wise, although they do nerf Thor a bit in the films, I should say. But Thor is pretty on par with Silver Surfer. The one character that I wish they would introduce is Gladiator. That would be amazing if we could get a shot of Gladiator, especially not that now that they're like off into space, right? Then like all these things aren't just happening on Earth, They definitely need to bring him in. Isn't he like the protector of the Shi'ar Empress? Like, what's up with that? Um, call Loki, call Loki a puny god. No, it's Thanos. I think he helps the future. I think he helps stop the future. Adam Warlock. Oh, so Thanos is the one that stops. Are you saying Thanos? I think no, it's Thanos. I think he helps the future. Adam Warlock. Scott, you're gonna have to break that one down for me. I'm trying to catch you. The older you, the older you get, less appealing early adoption is. Yep. Say that again. You need to. Let's see what it says. You need to get the GameStop exclusive Red Hulk version. Possibly. Sega Kid J, what's going on? Yo, PSP is always great. Yeah, PSP, man. I'm a huge fan. Vanilla Wears Muramasa's Rebirth. PSP is dope. So I have Muramasa the Demon Blade. So I have two versions of Muramasa. I have Muramasa the Demon Blade right here on the Wii. Vanillaware. I'm a huge fan of the Demon Blade. I'm a fan of Muramasa. I like the whole like linking, hack and slash combos and chain links and stuff like that. I've played this a lot more. Well, I haven't played this copy because this copy is still sealed on the Wii, but I've played the PS Vita version a bunch, and it's fun. Um, this reminds me. There's a game that reminds me of Muramasa. It's actually it's on the Switch. Jeez, it stars like this little fox. It plays a lot like it. It has a Vanillaware feel too. It's not coming to me right now, but it's a game on the Switch. I can't remember it. It's a game. It's one of my favorite games. What up, Y2K NES Wizard? What's going on, man? What's going down? How you feeling? It's Monday. We're just chilling, bro. We're just chilling. Very simple. Just got it. Just sitting around a bunch of games and just talking about games and comic books and movies. Just vibing out, bro. That's all we're doing. Bro, lightning struck next to my house and fried like 7 of my systems. Damn, I traded them all out and got new ones. Sucks. I will never leave my system. What? That's crazy. Lightning struck and blew out all your consoles? That's wild. I've never heard of that. But most importantly, I'm glad you're safe and I'm glad you're okay. Hopefully no one in the house got injured, but that's pretty wild, man. I've never heard of that. They're saying I'm playing Siphon Logan Shadow for the PSP. Nice. I've never heard of that game, but maybe I'll look it up after this live. I had the TurboGrafx CD system and I regret getting rid of it. Ooh, yeah, TurboGrafx CD. That's not bad, man. That's not a bad system. That's pretty exclusive. Only people in the MCU that can take on the Silver Surfer is Hulk, Doctor Strange, Thanos, Thor, Adam Warlock, also Gladiator. Yeah, so I agree. I think you're spot on, Sega Kid J. I think you're spot on with that. Although Doctor Strange is honestly a lot more powerful than I think the movie gives it credit for, and I would say Doctor Strange is probably more powerful than most of the people in this list, maybe with the exception of Adam Warlock. Obviously he's not gonna fight Thanos hand to hand because then he'll really get destroyed. But his manipulation of the mystic arts, accompanied with the Eye of Agamotto, makes him truly formidable. But Doctor Strange needs trinkets, right? Like he needs the Eye of Agamotto. He needs he needs his trinkets. Like without all of his trinkets, okay, maybe he's more tameable. But a full Doctor Strange with all of his trinkets, he is a handful to deal with in the comic books for sure. Did you read Marvel during the age of the apocalypse? I grew up on the 80s, especially 90s X-Men. I liked it, but poor Wolverine with his burnt head, no adamantium, one hand, and bone claws. I read comics, I would say probably during the golden age. So that's probably what, like the early 90s to mid 90s, like late 80s, early 90s. My most vivid memories are going to be of the Infinity Wars. Uh, Comics that I remember the most are the Infinity Wars and also the Spider-Man comics when Carnage is first introduced, where Cassidy is in prison and basically the spawn of the Venom symbiote goes, he meets him in the jail cell and he becomes Carnage. It's funny because that comic book, they actually use that exact comic in the Maximum Carnage video game. Like it's really funny. And the first time I played Maximum Carnage, I was like, yo, that's exactly from the comic. It was actually pretty sick. T Dodge, man, have a good shift, man. Get back to work. Hopefully you getting that bread, get that money. Doing good, doing good. RIP the console for sure, man, for sure. Just Dave, what's going on? I hope they show Norrin Rad Silver Surfer. I think the only reason we got the alternate version of his wife is because it's another universe. They can't leave the original Silver Surfer without out of MCU. I agree, man. There's so many characters we need. We need to see. Like, there's so many characters that we need to see in the MCU, but just Marvel can't introduce them because, like, everyone will look extremely weak, right? Like, bro, can you imagine Falcon trying to be in a battle that has like Silver Surfer and like Gladiator? Like these guys would be a non-factor. Like Scarlet. What's in that? What's the girl that like Hawkeye and like these characters don't like even rank, man. Like they won't. They will be flies on the wall when it comes to once you get into a certain tier. Like they won't even matter. The other Kenga Bancho series needs to be released. I didn't even know there was another series. I gotta check that out. Yeah, Surge Protector would have saved the day for sure in that instance. Sega Kid, 100%. It really depends on which powers he takes from. However, Doctor Strange did lose to World Beater Hulk. Okay. Even with the ancient demon amps, current MCU Hulk doesn't show it, sadly, but Hulk is very. Yeah, so Hulk is, so I think that's the reason why I'm a big fan of Gladiator because with the Hulk, obviously, the more angry he gets, the stronger he gets. Whereas, like with the Gladiator, the more confident he gets, the stronger he gets. So I remember when he fought Juggernaut and literally flicked him halfway across the planet. Like literally flicked Juggernaut halfway across the planet. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, Gladiator's pretty sick, man. He's always been one of my favorite characters for sure. Surge Protector isn't going to do anything against lightning strikes. You need heavy duty surge lightning protection on the main line, and that's still not guaranteed. Keep them unplugged. Damn, you have me wanting to unplug everything in my house right now. It's crazy. Like, I do not want to have anything plugged in. Age of Apocalypse was mid-90s, if I recall. It was when Professor X died and Magneto led what was left of the X-Men against the forces of Apocalypse. Yeah, so like the X-Men, I would love to see how the X-Men universe intertwines with everything that we're seeing um in the MCU, because I feel like there are characters in X-Men that completely annihilate a lot of the MCU characters. Like, can you imagine the Phoenix Force in the MCU? Like Phoenix, like Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force. Like, who's stopping Phoenix? Like, I don't think anybody's stopping the Phoenix Force if that enters the MCU. So, I mean, you consider that Magneto. I mean, I don't know how many characters that we see in the MCU are really stopping Magneto like that. Like, I mean, we did see Professor X in which one was it? In the Doctor Strange. Well, you saw what happened when Professor X tried to enter the mind of Scarlet Witch. Now, granted, I don't think that was 616 Professor X. That was Professor X from an alternate universe because he was a part of the Illuminati. If we're going by the MCU, I'm pretty sure that was the Professor X that was part of the Illuminati with like Mr. Fantastic and Black Bolt and stuff like that. Which Black Bolt, that's another character that's ridiculously powerful. Like if Black Bolt whispers at you, you're finished. Like if he coughs in your direction, you're toast. Like there's so many characters that I'd love to see all these characters interact with one another to see how it all pans out. Um, what other games are worth getting? What other games are worth getting that are similar to the Incredible Hulk? If you're asking me for the PS3, because I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Obviously all the Spider-Man games, Edge of Time, um, the Shattered Dimensions, all those games are pretty good. The Transformers games are good. The Gundam games are good on the PS3. So those are some pretty good options there. There's a lot. Skur says, "Will the new DK game make you buy a Switch 2?" No, 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 it will not. The most intriguing games that I saw, some of the most intriguing games that I saw for the Switch 2, I think, are on keycard, which is a big part of the reason why I'm kind of willing to wait. Like, I know they're coming out with a new Daemon X Machina. I think they're coming out with, there's a new Zelda game that's coming out. I think it's a follow-up to Tears of the Kingdom. That one has me thinking, okay, I could get into that. Maybe I'd get a Switch 2 for that. But I'm not really seeing a whole lot that's making me say, yeah, you need to, I want to go get this. I want to go get this right now. Nothing that I see. Sega KJ, I remember the Share episodes in X-Men, and none of them could take on the generals. The Gladiator wasn't breaking a sweat. Dark Phoenix had to save them. Seriously, bro. Like, Gladiator was out there, like, coughing on people. Because Gladiator is basically Marvel's version of Superman. Like, he has all of Superman's powers. Heat vision, cold breath, super speed, super strength, invulnerability. He's Marvel's Superman. Just no kryptonite. He doesn't suffer from kryptonite. Just if he starts getting beat up, then he'll start to lose. Professor X's son Legion accidentally killed him instead of Magneto, which led to Age of Apocalypse. Okay, I gotta go back and read some of these comics, man. Seriously, the last Marvel film I saw in theaters was the Apocalypse one, and I was super disappointed. Logan is probably my favorite behind Blade. Logan is actually pretty good. It's definitely serious. It's one of the more somber Marvel movies for sure. But the Blade series was classic, bro. I heard that they're replacing Blade or something like that, which I don't even get that because Wesley Snipes looks like I know he's old, but he looks like he could still do it. Like he could still be Blade. He could still be him. I don't know if they got to replace him, but hey, it is what it is. Magneto is the GOAT. No, Onslaught. Onslaught is the GOAT. We need to see a battle between Onslaught and Apocalypse. That's something I would love to see. If Magneto changes how the magnetism works on Earth like he did in the Ultimate Comics, then I don't see many of the MCU characters surviving. Yeah, you bring up a good point. See, there's so many instances in Marvel Comics where like certain characters just are imbued with this like crazy amount of power and strength. Um, like different characters have possessed the Phoenix Force, and obviously when you have the Phoenix Force, you're unstoppable. Then you have the Odin Force, right, which Thor can use. There's been points in the comics where Thor was imbued with the Odin Force and was damn near unstoppable. I think Thor had the Odin Force at a point when he fought Thanos, and even then Thanos was a bit too much for him, even with the Odin Force. Um, then there's another power. I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what it's called, but I know Spider-Man got it at one point where he was so powerful, like anything he thought came into existence. Like it was, I can't remember what that's called. Then you have characters like Franklin Richards, who's the son. I think that's the son of Susan Storm and Mr. Fantastic. Who Franklin Richards is damn near omnipotent. Like this guy, like there's so many characters, bro. It's too many characters. Let's see. Kenkabancho sequels were never remastered. Atlas should get on it. Oh, I didn't even realize that there were sequels. I gotta get on that. Brooklyn Game Collector. I have a few surge protectors, and my TV went out with my game consoles, and they work fine. Oh, lucky man. Only the third Kenkabancho game was released on PSP. Oh shoot, dang! Now you really have me wanting to do some research on that. I'm gonna have to look that up. The '90s run of the X-Men was awesome. It sure was, man. Sure was. The '90s in general were awesome, bro. Like the '90s were just sick. Some of the best music, best TV shows, best fashion, some of the best cars. It's crazy. Sega Kid, yeah, the comics Magneto went to the upper atmosphere and shorted out the entire Earth's magnetic field, shutting down all electricity. Damn, Magneto is that dude. Other cool Marvel characters, Onslaught, Holocaust, for sure. How do you think Street Fighter 6 looks on the Switch 2? I don't know. I haven't really seen it, man. I haven't seen anyone stream it. I need to get on and see who's streaming that stuff because I haven't seen any streams. Sega KJ Nintendo said first party games will be on cartridge. It's the third party games that may be game cards, and sadly it seems like most of them are taking that route. Yeah, because it's too damn expensive. Most of them will take that route, and that's the part that's a bummer, man. Like, it's just a bummer. Sunset Liquid, were you ever a fan of Spawn? Hell yeah. Todd McFarlane, Spawn? Psst, who wasn't? I remember Spawn when Spawn first dropped. When the comic book first came out and the toy first came out. That toy was like a hot commodity. The original Spawn? What? Yeah, Todd McFarlane struck gold with that one. Spawn was dope. And then when the movie came out, starring Michael Jai White, the movie wasn't half bad. I think they did a good job of portraying like the Spawn universe. I think that was good. And then even the Spawn video games are pretty good. Spawn Armageddon on the PlayStation 2 is one of my favorite games. I like that. There's a Spawn game for the Dreamcast, which is more like an arena fighter. I like that Spawn too. So at first I didn't like the Spawn that came out on the Super Nintendo, but that was because there were moves that I didn't realize were available in that game. I actually need to get that back. I need to get Spawn for the Super Nintendo back. I had it and traded it like a dummy. Then there's the Captain Universe power. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what it is. Captain Universe powers. I think those are the ones. There's like different powers that you can be imbued with at any point. And usually the way the writers do it is like characters get it when all hope is lost. Like they wait until the last second, like the evil, like the villain is about to completely win, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like this power just imbues someone, and they're able to. Well, they kind of did the same thing in the MCU. Remember when in an Endgame, when Captain America was finally able to pick up Mjolnir. Yeah, it was like he was worthy, like it's just Marvel does that. I mean, it's cool. They make you think all hope is lost, and then somebody gets like this miraculous power. It's crazy. I have a really cool build a figure Onslaught figurine. Cool, man. Cool. I have one of those build your figure deals for Boba Fett. I need to build it. Boba Fett, by the way, is my favorite Star Wars character. Easily, Boba Fett is the coolest Star Wars character, hands down. He's cooler than Han Solo. He's cooler than Darth Vader. Boba Fett is that guy. To me. Was going to ask you if you're a fan of the Resident Evil series. Kind of. I like the movies. I didn't play the games a ton growing up. But I'm definitely a fan of the movies. I could watch those movies all day long. Captain Universe is the power Spidey guy. He punched the Hulk into space. Scott, you are a comic book man. My good man. Yes, you are well read in the art of comics. That's it. Brooklyn, I remember the scene when Hulk took Thor's hammer off the ground. Yeah, Hulk struggled a bit. Hulk was not worthy. He definitely was not worthy to hold the hammer. Have you seen Battle Angel Alita? I have seen that movie, but I fell asleep. I think I fell asleep like halfway through, so I don't think I got to see the end. It has that whole what's that movie with the video games? What's that movie? Shoot. It has that whole like 3D CGI feel, but I have seen it. It's gonna be my favorite adaptations of a comic slash manga. Yeah, Alita was actually pretty cool. Battle Angel Alita. I think. Am I? Is that the same movie? I think I seen that movie. Scott Free. Yeah, I remember Magneto doing that in X-Men Legends game. He dropped one of the coldest bars I heard. And on the eighth day, I looked upon the earth and said, "Let there be darkness." That HBO Spawn show was great. There was an HBO Spawn show? I missed that. I gotta go back and look at that. Spawn, the HBO animated series, was good. Damn, I gotta go look that up now. Now you guys got me wanting to go check that out. I might have to go look that up. The animated series? That sounds dope. That sounds. I've been looking for something new to watch too, man. I feel like there's nothing good on TV. Caught myself watching Dawson's Creek the other day, like an idiot. Like, what am I watching? Stupid. I have 52 PSP games and movies, just counted them. Nice. That PSP collection is growing. The Enigma Force, but that thing did not show up when the Omniverse died in Secret Wars. The Enigma Force? Damn, I gotta go look that up. Captain Universe and the Enigma Force. Those are two I gotta go look up. I love, like, I could sit down and just like research Marvel comics like all day long. It's just interesting to me. What do you think about the Mortal Kombat collection coming out? There's a Mortal Kombat collection coming out? I didn't know that. I did not know that. I think it's interesting. It'll be cool to see. It'll definitely be cool to see. I was more of a Street Fighter guy than Mortal Kombat, but I'll look it up. I'm partial to the Imperial Guards, but for some reason, but some for their awesome design. The old ones are my favorite, but I like the remakes also. Yeah, man. Good talking with you guys, man. Good chat tonight for a Monday night. Went down memory lane. Seriously, Marvel characters, Star Wars, video games. This was a pretty cool one. Spawn the and now you guys gave me some stuff to look up. Spawn the animated series. I'm definitely gonna go look up. Only got 3 seasons on HBO. Definitely got to go check that out. And then I also now I got to go look up the Enigma Force and the Captain Universe powers. That's right. Now I got to go watch some YouTube videos on that. Good looking out. Who was the one that put me onto that? Was it Scott? Scott Free. Good looking out, man. Thanks for putting me onto that. I totally forgot. You definitely are well read in the art of comic books for sure. But that does it for me, guys. I can't believe it's 67 minutes. Time flies when I'm hanging out with y'all. It's always a good time. But I am going to run, watch a couple YouTube videos, and then knock out. That does it for me. It is a Y2K collector. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your evening. Take it easy.